Hello YouTube, back once again with my film reviews, and the other night I saw the somewhat new, horror movie, The Witch, and I want to talk about this one because my god was this a good horror movie, aren't those a dime a dozen? So, The Witch, plot of this movie, it takes place, in the early 1600s in, colonial America. No, not colonial, would it be? Or is it Pilgrim America? Is that, well, whatever, I digress. Whatever it is, plot that it takes place during the early 1600s, and a family is kicked out of a plantation-like place, and so they move to the edge of a woods to set up shop there. And then it's a few months later, and unbeknownst to them, they're being stalked by a witch in the wood. And from there, it's just a huge thing of paranoia as they all start suspecting each other of witchcraft, while oblivious to what's really going on. That's the plot of the movie. So what's the good and bad of this movie? Okay, well, the good, I really have to hand it to this cast, because the thing about the dialogue in this movie, be fully aware of this walking in, is it's very historically accurate. It is very old English. They are fully speaking in period accurate dialect, and because of that, it's really bizarre sometimes. So I really have to give it to these actors for making it sound natural. Cause my God, it must have been a nightmare working with this dialogue, like just trying to memorize every single phrase. But they pull it off. They make this sound like, yeah, this is just how they speak. So gotta hand it to them for that. And especially for the actors of Ralph Ineson as the father, and the main character Anya Taylor-Joy as Thomason. Those two were fantastic from beginning to end. They definitely turned out, I would say, the best performances of the movie. So the fact that they had to work with just such unbelievably difficult dialogue, good for them. And I think this was the actress's Anya Taylor-Joy's first movie. What a way to start. This was an unbelievably impressive performance. And I also want to give credit to the Harvers Siren Scrimshaw, sorry. Harvey Scrimshaw, sorry, I wrote that down. As the older son Caleb. I just feel, because this actor, he gave one of the most legitimate faces of terror I ever seen in a movie, and good for him. I mean, his face of terror he gives in the movie, it looks so genuine, and like, it's not like a scare, like, ooh, something jumped up on me. No, he looked legitimately, completely petrified in terror. It looks so legitimate at the same time. So, the acting in this movie is fantastic, and it's mainly just a cast of five for the most part, so good for them. That I just gotta say, this movie just had a really creepy, uncomfortable atmosphere from beginning to end. The woods are just really spooky. Like, anytime the characters are in the woods, like it looks like that kind of thing where have you ever been alone in the woods and you just can't help but shake the feeling that somebody's looking at you? Like, you really do get that feeling anytime any of the characters are in the woods in this movie. And that the family is bizarre and creepy for the most part, except for the main character Thomason. She's probably the most straight up likable, like, because, like, the father's a religious nut, the mother, like, is like mentally depressed and kind of crazy. The two twin kids are so creepy and weird and unsettling. And even the older brother Caleb is probably the second most likable character. There's this whole, like, weird thing how he's, like, sexually attracted to his sister, which, even though that may sound so horrible, you kind of can't blame him, because he's clearly an adolescent, and he clearly has not seen another woman, like, for in quite some time, and his sister's attractive, so you're kind of like, this is really uncomfortable, but I don't know if I can blame you for this, because Yeah, but like I said, it just adds to the how uncomfortable it is, like, because, like, when, like, anytime, like, the sister Thomas is trying to have, like, a heart-to-heart with her, younger brother, even the younger brother kind of looks like, oh god, this is really messed up what I'm feeling right now, so, yeah, just really uncomfortable, and, this, just to give you an example of how creepy this movie is, this movie made a bunny creepy, like, there's a bunny in this movie that keeps showing up that's freaking terrifying, and, definitely a mark of a good horror movie if you can make a bunny look creepy, so, good job on that, and, finally, the last big credit I have to give is, the set design and cinematography were brilliant, the uh the set design and definitely gave you a feeling of what a terrible time it was to be alive during this period of history when, like, it was considered a privilege to live to the ripe old age of 35. Like, you always have to, anytime the winter's approaching, you have to think, am I gonna be able to survive this winter? Am I gonna starve to death and die? Like, oh god. And that, and also just the cinematography also just gave this film a very foreboding atmosphere. You always had a very deep, creepy feeling of dread throughout the entirety of this film. So, well, so cast is amazing, cinematography, set design's amazing, and this movie is just freaking terrifying for being to end. But I do have some issues with this movie. One, this is minor. I have to give credit for you for being using Old English so accurately, but even then, there will be times in the movie you'll just hear a line and then you just lean over to, like, the person next to you and be like, what did they just say? I'm so confused. So yeah, that minor point, because I just give this movie credit for just actually going all out and using the Old English, but still, it could get a bit distracting at times. This is another minor point is the fellow shot in this movie I thought was kind of stupid and just looks silly, the first shot that I thought the movie was gonna end on, like, slight spoiler, it's the poster, like, if that, but, like, if that was the last shot of the movie, I'd say, wow, that was a really creepy and dark ending. No, there's, like, a few seconds after, and I just thought the shot just, to me, it was clearly meant to be disturbing and weird, it just looked really just stupid to me. Like, I actually kind of smirked when I saw it. But that's also my real issue with this movie just comes from the fact that this movie could have been, honestly, a perfect masterpiece in my eyes if there, because, and it would have been so much more creepy if you also weren't aware if there was a witch in the woods, or if it was just these characters' paranoia that's making them believe there's a witch in the wood, because this is a film all about paranoia. For the most part, the witch is never actually around or seen. You're just, it's just a huge blame game among this family, just trying to figure out if any of them are witches or whatnot, and because, like, yeah, because the family, they don't know what's going on. At first, they just wonder if, like, something weird just happened or if there is a witch, and they start blaming each other because they're getting so paranoid and terrified. But the problem is, you're always aware there's the witch in the woods. So even though, it's still creepy and unsettling, this whole movie, you're always aware of the witch. You always know it's a witch. You never think, like, maybe it is just these characters' paranoia that's getting the best of them. No, you're sad, because there's people online I've been reading who tried to defend the idea that maybe you can read this, that there isn't a witch, but I don't buy it, because literally there's a shot in the first, you may say this is a spoiler, but no, because in the first 5 minutes they show the witch, and I do not know how you can read this as any other way, but that was a witch. That was a witch right there. This is a witch who's haunting them. So, yeah, that's my major complaint with this movie. I honestly think this would have been perfect if you were just as paranoid as this family was when all this creepy shit was going on. So, yeah, like, it didn't even have to go the full length of the movie. Like, if, like, they wanted to go halfway through, like, when one of the characters encounters the witch, I won't say who it is, but one of the characters encounters the witch, it's probably the most terrifying thing in the movie. And they just, like, basically say, okay, there's a witch in the woods then I would have been sure, yeah, okay, there's a witch. Okay, so it wasn't just these people's paranoia, but the fact you always know that there's a witch in the woods that's just, like, screwing with them, that is just, this movie as it says, this movie is still fantastic. I give The Witch a very solid 4.5 out of 5. It is a fantastic horror movie. This is so much more intelligent than most horror movies. There is no jump scares. There's nothing of the sort. This is just the creepiness and the ambiguity, the atmosphere, and just how uncomfortable the film makes you. So, yeah, but God, do I wish you were unaware if there was a witch or not in the first, in this movie for at least the first half or so. But I digress. Still, I think this was the writer and director's first film, and my God, what a way to start! This was just fantastic. So yeah, if you like horror movies, when I say horror movies, I mean not horror movies that are just goddamn stupid jump scares from beginning, but legitimate terror. Go see this if you just want to see a really interesting period piece film. Yeah, definitely go see this, because like, even though there is the supernatural aspect to it, you can almost just understand, like, in this time period, why would things like the Salem witch trials actually start happening. So yeah. So that's my review on the movie. YouTube, as always, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.